Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Stephanie, and in today's video, we're going to tackle the side of this fridge. So for the longest time, I've had it like this. This was my command center over the last, I don't know, year. I think I just stopped using it. I've been writing my grocery and menu list on a piece of paper, so I no longer really use this command center other than just to hold my take action papers. So here I'm showing you that I was testing the chalk method first on a piece of contact. So I came to the conclusion that I can't do chalk paint directly to the fridge as it will scrape off as soon as I start to write on it. I guess it's the grooves, it just scrapes it easier off the fridge. So I figured if I use something to smooth out the grooves within the fridge, it would help. So I had some contact paper that I had on hand already, and I used that, and I cut a little square to test it out first. And I realized that that made it all the much better to help keep the chalk paint intact without scraping off as I would write with the chalk. So I figured if I maybe layered two pieces of contact paper, that would help. Now the supplies that I will be using for this project are these command strips. They're the 16-pound weight limit on there. I also bought 2 packs of this wood pile from Hobby Lobby when they had their 40% off on unfinished woods for projects. And then the chalk paint that I got is also from Hobby Lobby. And then the tray and the foam roller were from Home Depot. I went with this craft wood versus real wood because it's a lot lighter, so I know that it could stick easier and stay on the fridge. Versus real wood, I would be very concerned of it falling off and possibly hitting the kids. So this is a better option for me, but you can also use real wood if you want to. I also used this marble contact paper. You can use any contact paper. This is just what I had on hand. So first, before I start, I am going to give the side of the fridge a good wipe just to remove any dust, so that way everything adheres to the side of the fridge good. So I am placing the contact paper just in the center where I am actually wanting it to be the chalkboard part, and I am just using the pieces of wood as my guide as to where to place it in the fridge. And I'm also going to be working in a couple sections at a time to avoid any air bubbles. I am using my Cricut scraper tool, but you can use a credit card or a gift card, whatever type of scraper type thing you have, to help scrape it and adhere to the fridge as best as possible without any air bubbles. Once I was done adhering the first piece of contact paper to the fridge, I did have a second layer to adhere on top of this contact paper. So I ended up using 2 pieces of contact paper to layer on top of each other so that it creates a smoother, flat surface without any of the grooves from the fridge showing through. To remove any air bubbles that showed up using the second layer, I simply just used a pin, poked a little hole, and went in with the scraper and it flattened it out. So now I'm ready to use my chalk paint onto my contact paper. I did a total of 3 layers. So once I was done with each layer, I would let it dry, then go back in with another layer. Painting multiple layers of the chalk paint, I think helps really give you that chalkboard feeling and finish on the fridge. So while my third layer of chalk paint was drying, I decided to tackle the front and make this a little bit cuter and more organized so it matches the side of the fridge and just my whole house in the aesthetic and style of my house. So I cleaned this up and I decided to use some wooden frames that no longer had glass. I bought a magnetic strip roll at Hobby Lobby, and I just cut pieces and took the backing off and placed that onto the frame so that way the frame had enough of the magnet to help it stay in place on the fridge. That way I'm still able to display my son's activities or projects or just anything he colored on the fridge, but have it look really cute. So now that my chalk paint is dry, I am ready to add my boards. So I'm just placing my command strips in 3 places on the long board so that way it's really secure onto my fridge. So here is the first board and it's secured nicely, and I am ready to start adding the other pieces onto the fridge. Because the boards from Hobby Lobby are not as tall as the wood you would be able to buy, let's say from Home Depot, I had to be okay that there would be a little bit of a seam to connect the smaller board on top of the boards that are already attached at the bottom. And I was okay with that. I think it just gives it really nice character. It honestly, the seam is really not that noticeable unless you're right in front of it. But as long as you're not really paying attention, you can't even notice that there is a seam and you're connecting 2 pieces of wood. So once I have all of my wood pieces together, now I want to cure the chalkboard part, or the parts where I put the chalk paint, and this just helps it somehow. I guess it just helps it stick and not be so easily scratched off. But I did this and it seems to work because it's held up so far. I've been able to use it just fine with no problem. So here I'm doing lines, and then I just decided to do it from side to side, and that worked really well. So I did this a couple of times and then wiped it off just to make sure it was secure and that the chalk paint was not going to rub off. So this is just the curing part of the chalkboard. And now my chalkboard is ready to be used, and I'm so excited to just display either my menu or to-do list or just a summer list for things to do as a family. And I just think it's so cute. I think it adds a lot of character, and now I don't have a big black unorganized eyesore thing here, and I just love how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some ideas on how to possibly decorate or cover up the exposed side of your refrigerator so that it's not an eyesore and it fits with the style of your home. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you here at Considered Aunt Joy, and you can do so by clicking the red subscribe button down below, and I really hope to see you again in the next video. Bye-bye!